Music's too loud for my liking. Hello, everybody. How are you? You good? I've been very busy this afternoon. But first... Greetings, my name is Brian. Welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. How are things? Also, what are you drinking? If you are drinking anything at all. I have water. It's very exciting. And I have just returned from exercising 1 hour ago. Less than 1 hour ago. Which is why we're starting at 8 p.m. tonight. It was leg day. Almost died. At least I felt pretty rough. First of all, let's get these started. Sugar Kitty. Meow. Cat Huey. The Zen Boot. Thank you all for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it is greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated, especially with such an obscure topic. I saw that this was a day thing. Every once in a while with my streams, if you've noticed, there'll be an obscure stream like this, which is just, I don't really have a topic for the evening. Not that I need one. And sometimes I look at the what day is it today stuff. And today, I saw this one. And I was like, oh, intrusive thoughts. Excellent. I know all about those. Now, of course, if they're unmentionable, you don't have to tell me what they are. Christy, that's you. Hello. Welcome. QuickBooks. It's all about underwear, exactly. I'm getting new underwear tomorrow. There's an intrusive thought. Oops. I am. It's true. And I can say that proudly because I do it every month, apparently. A little gift to myself. I think, hold on. Yeah. All of you here are aware of how I like to promote Good Store, the Vlog Brothers, charity store, I guess is the best way to put it. So everything you buy, the money goes to charity of numerous charities, not just one. And they have all kinds. They have a coffee subscription. They have socks. They have underwear. They have cleaning products, which I'm going to need some of that soon. That includes soap and shampoo. They have that too. The cleaning surfaces products and also cleaning yourself products. They have just about anything you really want. And they have tea, if you like tea. It's wild. Good.store, I think. Anyway, that's why I'm getting underwear tomorrow. I have a subscription, and they're very comfortable, and I like them. That's all. I'm not going to be able to keep that up for long, though. In fact, I think I'm canceling that next month. We'll see. Because it's about $20, something like that. I have to remind myself every once in a while. I'm not exactly... Oh, new item. I'm not exactly in the position to be able to buy stuff for charity as much as I'd like to. But I promote it here all the time because I like it. I love the idea. I love the idea of having stuff you need to buy anyway going to a good place. Going to instead of some CEO's pocketbook or bank, it goes to a good cause. And that's what we like around here. At least I do. If I could do that myself, I would. The best I got is the GoFundMe we just did. KillCo's Knickers, yes. There's an intrusive thought for Zen. I'm still trying to breathe properly. So anyway, I saw this and I thought it was funny. I didn't really look into it other than trying to think to myself, like, when did I have any kind of real intrusive thoughts lately? And not really. Like, I feel like I used to have them more often. And again, you don't need to tell me what they are, because they're they're ones you don't want to tell people. I think the one thing I thought about earlier was the idea of dreams. That was the easiest way for me to sort of describe the sort of thing that might run through your mind, because dreams don't make sense. And sometimes they can be scary and disturbing and confusing. I've had plenty of dreams that I'm never going to tell anyone. So it's in that vein of something your brain did and you're just questioning what the hell that was. Another simple example is I don't remember where I heard this one, but it's one that I don't think I've had, but since I've heard it so many times, I start to question it. Where there's that moment of you're driving along in your car and suddenly you have this impulse to go into the oncoming lane. I don't think I've had that one. I would rather not die in a car accident. But the mind does weird things. It's hard for people to get their head around that. It's like, my mind just told me to do a thing, and I thankfully went, that's a bad idea, don't do that. Where did that come from? There's also ones where, like jumping into water. So if you're near water, any kind of water, you have an impulse to jump into it, even though you know you shouldn't because you're fully clothed and it's below freezing. Or I can see like jumping off a cliff as in into the water, because some people do that. That's a thing. It's also incredibly dangerous in some areas and they shouldn't do it. I'm like gobsmacked at how fast the moon is changing. I feel like the full moon just happened, except it didn't. It is officially almost gone. It's almost the new moon again. That happened pretty quick. My body is also recuperating from the walk I took earlier. It is approximately 33 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. And I took a walk in this earlier. I still feel a chill. It sucks. It hasn't quite gone away yet. It's still there. It's lingering. Jameson commercial. Yes. Sponsor me, Jameson. Damn you. I will happily tell people about Jameson, because that's one of the few products I can say is actually good. If I can tell you one thing, if a rabbit hole sponsored me, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I had a bad experience there. A very minor bad experience, but enough for me to be like, this is a bit much. I can't fault the place for one experience, mind you. Look at my phone. It's a bad thing to do. What else is a good example of, I know it's framed in a certain way. I know I was looking at my phone now. But it is basically intrusive thoughts. I love that my channel has a Jameson commercial. Jameson Stout? Hell yeah. I should have some of that on my shelf, but I don't. I have Redbreast. We are going to have a little whiskey soon. Not tonight, obviously, but with the month being what it is, festivities must arise. Even if tonight is a festive night. We're officially halfway there, by the way. For Christmas Eve. What? In fact, I'm looking at the calendar right now. Next Friday is going to be a little sad. We'll be talking a little bit about Monster Max. Although there is some closure to that now, and it's not something I feel like I need to bring up every single year as much, because I was able to do the videos that I did last year, and I got the bookers, so I can pour that out next Friday and be very happy about that, kind of full circle to that, which few people can have, I think, when it comes to loss of a pet. But I am very fortunate that that occurred, and now I have some kind of closure to it, and I get to drink some delicious whiskey. Oh, it's so good. Ooh. So that's next Friday. Sunday, I have no idea what I'm gonna do on Sunday. Wednesday, we're gonna play games, because I was really enjoying the game I've been playing, and I swear there were a lot of people watching. I was looking at the numbers and I was like, that's weird. 20 people watching me play this game? Huh? So hopefully that will happen again, just because we want those eyeballs on the screen. What else? Oh yeah, Irene has a tasting coming up on 21st. And the 24th is coming up the second, like 2 Wednesdays from now. So like we're on the 12th. So 12 more days, which will be a Wednesday, we'll be having a Christmas Eve's live stream. So you can join me here if you'd like. I hope you do. And I'm going to pour myself a plentiful amount of whiskey that night. And Friday, we're going to have Boxing Day. Won't that be lovely? And then we just roll up into the end of the year, and another Wednesday, we're going to have New Year's Eve. Wow. How does that happen? It seems like every year, I know it's not true, but it seems like almost every year we have these holidays land on the days I would live stream, but I'm keenly aware that I live stream 3 times a week. Minimum 3 times a week. Which is good for me. But it's just funny that all these days are landing the way they are. VR? There's something on my wish list. I can't even do that. Like, I want to get a VR thing so I can do virtual reality games. So you can watch me bumble around like an idiot. I'd have to figure out a different setup. My computer would likely... I'd have to do a different area, actually. There's a lot of whiskey behind me, and I don't want myself flying and swinging my arms around too close to all these shelves. But that's a wish. That's a hope. The problem being, my computer can't handle it. So there is very much a thought in my head about updating this little desktop. Thankfully, I have a laptop, so I can play some more advanced games. But unfortunately, I can't play those more advanced games for streaming here very easily. I can't do it on here, actually, I should say. And I definitely can't do it here. Nothing to trip over, exactly. Yeah, if I did that, I would have to clean my apartment, mainly. I don't know what I'd do with that. That's a whole... I'm not going to worry about that problem. That's not a problem I need to think about. I hope that was fun. I've done VR before, but not anything like there is now. I've done little stuff. Hell, Mom and Dad probably remember me doing some virtual stuff, which was basically put a headset on you and a little controller in your hand, and you could look around and shoot stuff. And it was very low tech, but it was pretty high tech for the time. I don't remember what that was, but I remember doing it. I almost got to the end, if I remember correctly. Which is pretty good for a little kid. It was maybe 9, 10. Let's think. I'm really good at putting my phone down and picking it up again because I forgot what I was doing. Yeah. We have the National Today. It's also Gingerbread House Day, and I gotta admit, I was tempted. I was tempted to get a gingerbread house and try to put it together on the stream. But why didn't I do that? Well, then I would have a gingerbread house to eat by myself. Can't do that. All right. Contrary to what we think, it is not unusual to have thoughts that might be considered unmentionable or too naughty to share. Humans have a vivid imagination, and every now and then we tend to have thoughts that might be a little too risky to discuss with friends and family. But remember, you are not alone. There's nothing wrong with what you think, as long as you exercise caution before acting out your thoughts. A few unmentionable thoughts are unlikely to bring you any harm. Now, this is where we deep dive into the whole mental health problem of the recurrence and the impulse and porch furniture. You don't have it. Do you have a porch? I don't think you do. I know you have a window that looks over the basketball courts. There you go. Yeah. It's a bit much. Some people can't deal with it. I know people who could get motion sick probably couldn't deal with it. I luckily have a weirdly solid understanding of myself as a, like, what is real and what is not. That's why I feel like that's why I don't get scared by horror movies, because it's just one big performance. And a lot of it's very obvious. I don't think I've seen a horror movie where it felt natural. It always feels like a horror movie where the people react in the most absurd ways over the most absurd things. And you've seen me play that disturbing game, which I can't remember the name of. And I've definitely been startled in there, but if you watch me play it and you got to see any of it, whew, there was a lot of horrible things, and I was just, this is bad. I don't like this. We should get out of here. That's funny. Oh, that's what it was. There's actually been, I saw something recently about a game, a Thief game. Thief specifically as a series, which I played since I was actually a teenager. Long story. But they came out with a virtual reality version of it. It looks really good, but another moment in time where I'm like, if only. Back death with spiral sparrows down our tiny yard. There you go. That's right. I remember seeing that. So there you go. You can put your new furniture there. Don't do it. Don't do it. But there we go. I mean, that's what that's what that site told me about today. But what happened, here's what happened. I started talking to my phone, which is dangerous these days. For one thing, I occasionally ask it what time it is, and it responds in French. I haven't figured that one out yet, but I then tell it, you just told me what time it is in French. Don't do that. We're in a weird time period, people. Gotta correct your always listening device. But I went down the rabbit hole with it. So I asked it about what constitutes an intrusive thought, and it told me. And then it started going into, would you like to know more about that topic? I was like, yeah, go ahead. Told me a little more about it. Started mentioning, like, if it gets bad, mental illness, OCD, that kind of thing. And eventually it got to the point where it's like, would you like us to look up a therapist in your area? I'm like, you have missed the point. No. Stop it. Get out. But that is why I have this as a topic of discussion, is because it does lean into the mental worries that people have. And rightfully so. Like I said, if there's some thoughts that keep happening and become like so repetitive that you can't ignore them, whatever they may be, that's bad. That's something to check into or look into. But for the most part, it's a normal thing to happen. Yes, if it did tell me the time in Japanese, that would be better. Although I do know with numbers in Japanese, it's a bit much. I know enough of them, and I know how they say numbers. And I just go, why? Anytime you get past 10, that's when they start getting a little wild. Because they have to say 10 and then 1, and then they have to say 10 and then 2 to tell you what 12 is, and 13 and 14. I don't know any further than, wait. I think I can get to 5, but that's it. 6, 7, 8. Well, actually 8 is Hachi, I think. Anyway, whatever. I need to go over that again. There's a funny thought, not an intrusive one, but I mean, one of those thoughts where, what if you just woke up and started speaking Japanese even though you didn't know how to do it, and then you couldn't stop? Nani? I try to use Japanese words in regular daily stuff for myself, so I can learn the words. I think I could get by Japan for like the very basic things, because a lot of them are in like English. So if I wanted to know where the toilet was, I would say toire, because that's toilet. I know nani is what. I know ohayo gozaimasu is morning. Good morning. Konnichiwa is normal during the day. Gonbanwa is evening, I think. And a Yosemite Asai is good night. I think. What other kind of intrusive thoughts can we think about today? I don't really have any. Like, that's the weird thing. I brought this conversation up as like a thing to talk about, and I'm thinking about, have I had any recently? And I just go, no. There is one time when I was definitely not well, where I had an intrusive thought of sorts, and I did it, where I stepped in front of a moving vehicle. Don't do that. It was a little motorcycle scoot thing, so it wasn't like a real car, but the guy almost spun out. He was very angry at me, but... Whiskey? Whiskey? I'm thinking of numbers again. Does anyone like to share with the class any intrusive thoughts they've heard of? They don't have to say theirs, but if they've heard of one, go ahead. I'm still trying to sort out any that I have. I have had a nightmare, though. And this one sticks out, and this one's old. This is not a new thing, but I remember when I was a kid, I think I must have been, if I wasn't a teenager, I was close to it. And I had a dream of some sort. I don't remember it, but I just remember waking up with the feeling of one of our cats was killed or something. Like something horrible happened to it. So I woke up from that, and I had to find that pet and just sit with it for a little while, which I did. It was the middle of the night. Her name was Inky. She was our little princess way back when. But that's one, like, that was intrusive to the fact that one nightmare also, it was such a bad thing that it caused me to act upon it. Like I had to act upon that one. I had to find out where the pet was and make sure it was all right. And I had to let that sink in. As far as other sort of intrusive thoughts, not really. I think the good thing is about some of these, for most people, is that they go away. Like you have it, you go, huh? And then you move on. So if I've had plenty of them, I don't remember them. Yeah, other than that example of like going into oncoming traffic. And you know that's one because some people do it. Some people just go with it. Have I mentioned I chugged an entire protein drink before I started the stream? Not ideal. I also had pizza. I had one quarter of a pizza, except I'm looking at it. It's thin crust, and I managed to make it, and I ate that one piece of it, and I'll eat more later. What's everyone doing for the weekend? There's an intrusive thought. Just what is everyone doing for the weekend? I am doing as little as possible. I feel like the week just started. I don't know what it is with me, but maybe it's because of my schedule being what it is, like having a normal schedule of sorts, for at least someone with my condition. Exercise, therapist, nutritionist, it's all every week. Streaming 3 times a week. Sunday, Friday, Wednesday. Oh yeah, tasty. Ula. It's not an ideal protein drink, but it doesn't taste terrible. I do not drink it slowly. Orange cranberry bread, why? You did that on purpose. You were like, I'm gonna make some last time, and then you did, and you're like, it was delicious. I had some just recently. I can make my own, in theory. I do need to do a little bit more baking because I went out of my way to get that baking pan and I have the supplies. I just need to do it. Just holiday concert on Sunday? Oh, nice. Are they doing festive songs, I assume? I'm being festive, can you tell? I'm being subtly festive, subtly. because someone sees this green shirt and they see something on it and they're like, oh, reindeer. It's like, no, those are moose. That's a moose. Gotcha. There's nothing else on here that screams Christmas or anything. It's just a moose. And some interesting little designs. Indian takeout tonight. Hell yeah. My friend Greg told me he's getting pizza tonight, so luckily for me, I had a frozen pizza. And it's a good one. It's a Newman's Own frozen pizza, thin crust, pepperoni. Mwah. I bought it, and that supposedly went to charity. Why would you make that money? Also, where is mine? No. Why would you make that money? Giving it away to coworkers, or just stacking up for the holidays? I thought about making brownies. I can't though. I can't be around too many sugary things. It's bad. Just recently, I talked with my nutritionist about my yogurt selection, and there was a miscommunication of some sort, because maybe it was an intrusive thought. I don't know, but we discussed my yogurt, and I was under the impression that the yogurts I were getting, which did have sugar in them, but it wasn't that bad. You know, they have fruit on the bottom. Yogurt with fruit on the bottom. I'm like, okay, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. And then I tell her about that. I'm like, oh yes, I usually get the one with fruit on the bottom. She's like, what? I was like, what? I thought we agreed on that. I have to get plain yogurt or sugar-free yogurt. I need to start eating that instead. I made a mistake. Also, big thing. I hope he's fine, but Dick Van Dyke's 100th birthday is tomorrow. I feel like I should have done a live stream about that, but I didn't. I forgot. I didn't completely forget because I know it's tomorrow. I'll get Christmas sweater contest. Hell yeah. Santa and Mrs. Claus being pickable. Good God. That sounds like a shirt that Irene would like. There you go. Oh, I'm so torn. Like, I would love you to send me brownies, but also I'm like, no. No. That's where my head is at. Ugh. It's getting bad, everyone. I have to do so much stuff to get myself in the shape I want to be in. I felt like I was not going to be able to do my exercises tonight at one point. They were rough. Leg day is no joke. I know why people don't like leg day, because you're using your entire body. Your legs are doing a lot of work, but it's also moving all the rest of you. Give it away now. Exactly. That's how brownies should be. Special brownies. No, don't do that. Maybe I should do that. Well, I'm thinking about buying festive items for the holidays from a local cannabis store, but I don't know what they have. Maybe they have brownies. I don't know. I still always taste the cannabis, though, and it's not a great taste for me. I smelled a bunch of cannabis when I was taking the walk tonight. Cars driving past me. Skunk weed. Wow. Dank stuff right there. Ugh. We'll see. I also finished some of it. Like, I had some cannabis medication, is what I tell people it is, because it is. Helps me sleep, or gets me through a day, makes me feel a little less. Yeah, right? Doesn't take much. Sorry, Christy. Zedwood loves to do that here. Does me every stream, I think. Thankfully, I don't know the lyrics. It's already been 30 minutes. What the fuck? What? Sorry. That was very loud. Got me thinking of brownies. I will admit, I have to admit something to everyone. I have an iced eggnog latte for tomorrow morning. Don't tell my nutritionist. I buckled. I went before I exercise. Before I exercise, generally speaking, I will stop at the local coffee shop, which is directly across the street, and I will get myself a latte because I've been good. I deserve it. And normally I just get a regular caramel latte. I should be getting vanilla because caramel's a bit much. Sugar. Vanilla is not as bad. And I was gonna get a caramel one, and then I rethought it, and then I was like, oh, I want, like, I had the cookie butter one they had, and I was like, oh, that one's really sugary too. And then I saw it in front of me down on the counter. It said eggnog lattes. And I went, well, that's it. That's the one. 3 shots of espresso. We're not screwing around tomorrow. Tomorrow may be a Saturday, but it's going to be a special Saturday. Eggnog latte. 3 shots of espresso. I can already taste it. I want to already taste it. Oh, and of course, don't forget, we have the super chat goal, as usual. Specifically, we're doing the coffee one. Coffee neat. Yeah, exactly. I am about to open the 3rd coffee bag, by the way. The 3rd funky monkey one. We're just about to finish off the one I have. Well, whichever one I'm using. It's almost empty. So not tomorrow, but soon. Definitely before the end of the month. Whoop. Don't body response me. Go away. Oh, Zenbu, don't do that to me. They had a donut there, and I didn't say anything, and I looked at it because... Here's the thing. If I go to that coffee shop at the end of the night, that's what it was tonight. I got there just before close, just before 5 o'clock, and they close. Got my latte, looked at the donut that was sitting there, all wrapped up, thinking to myself, all I have to do is say, are you going to throw that one out? And they'll give it to me, probably. Because that's what they do sometimes. They have to get rid of them. And I didn't say anything. So hopefully someone gets a day-old donut tomorrow. I resisted temptation. Other than the eggnog latte. Hot chocolate and scotch sounds good. Which ones? Like which? Tell me more. Lefroy or... Coffee on hot chocolate is a go-to. I haven't done that yet this year. Or this winter. I don't want to say this year. This year's coming to a close. But on occasion, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. No, I won't. Maybe I'll do it the day after. Maybe I will do that tomorrow. You just, well, what I do, first of all, I have a Keurig. So we all know how good that coffee is. But if you're going to do the Keurig coffee, might as well put a packet of hot cocoa in there. Hot chocolate mix. Improves it drastically. Yeah. Whoop. Bongo Cat is demanding our attention. Reminder, if you have your computer monkey shoulder? I don't know if that's a favorite. If you don't pay for the... Oh, that's a good point. No, I've used that kind of excuse before. But as a reminder, everyone, if you have your own Bongo Cat and you want to join the live stream, you can. I just have to figure out how to do that. I think Cliff has the Bongo Cat, so I think he's probably the only one here who does. I would also suggest Irish, like Scotch, I can see would work, but I can't really say which one would work for me. I lean into Johnny Walker Black because that seems... That's what I'd want to test first. Because it's sweet, but it's also got a little bit of that sweet pea. And it's cheap. So I wouldn't mind using it. Me realizing I've been talking for 30 minutes without sipping any water. Criminy. I also managed to take a shower and shave before the live stream. That was exciting. Again, that's why the live stream... I didn't leave my exercise place until 7 p.m. So at the time of this stream would normally start, I was just leaving. Oh, there you go. Has anyone else gotten snow? I think Kathy and Christy have. Sugar Kitty, I don't know if you have. I don't look at most of the country because Rhode Island's very small. Just right there. There is rumor that there will be snow this weekend. I didn't like Monkey Shoulder, and I've tried it more than once. I would try it again. A half an inch on Tuesday. Oh. Guess who's out of the loop? Snow is one of those things where you're like, I'd love it to snow, and then it does, and you're like, wait a minute. Well, this is nice for the moment, but now I have to shovel my car. For here, we'll see. Every time it says it's going to snow, I'm a huge skeptic. And I go, I'll believe it when I see it. Because there have been so many times in the past where they say it's going to snow, and I'm like, oh boy, snow. You know, the little kid in me was like, yay, snow. Still, for some reason. And then it doesn't happen. We get like ice rain because we're right near the water. So the snow gets closer and closer, turns into water. Cold temps. Yeah, it's been pretty damn cold here. Yeah, we might get some. We'll see. I'll take pictures if we do, maybe. I'll take pictures from inside my warm apartment is what I'll do. Like, look at this beautiful courtyard. It's got snow all over it. Poor bastards. We didn't have any hurricanes, right? There were plenty of hurricanes I was trepidatious about. But I don't remember which ones, and I don't remember. There's one that hit way down south. I remember that. The Bahamas? One of the places down there past Florida got slammed. Alberta Clipper? I don't want it to get colder. 7 degrees Fahrenheit, I assume. Because there were definitely some negative double digits here, Celsius-wise. I was talking to Greg about Celsius. It's 0 degrees Celsius right now, so it is literally freezing cold out. And it is going to get colder tonight? Yes, it is. Oh, it's not too bad. It's only going to get down to -4. No problem. What's that? Oh, yeah, Sunday's going to be a delight. Sunday's going to be a delight. Sunday, in my area, is forecasted to be 0 degrees Celsius. So it's going to be freezing cold right after the snow, which is bad because then it freezes. Top of that with the fact that it'll also be -10 degrees Celsius that night. So any snow that shows up is going to freeze, and that's going to be a problem. Ugh. Puzzle games. Find the hidden cats? Hell yeah. Shoot your kitty. That's your game. Go ahead. Do it. Oh, man. Weather's weird. Weather's wonky as hell. I'm trying to stay on task with this intrusive thoughts stuff. But really, it's just an interesting topic to think about. Especially in my realm of mental health problems. Because, well, I've certainly had them before. But now they've been so stable-ish for so long. I'm thinking like, what? The only sort of, not even unmentionable, but the only thing I can think about is how my mood gets and how I get nasty. I don't really wish any super harm on everyone, but I get so angry and agitated to where it feels like it's not me. And where it feels intrusive. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It gets me so wound up. And then, thanks to my training, thanks to being mentally unwell for so long, once I start to realize that I'm getting this like tight stuff, I then ask myself, why are you letting yourself feel like this? What is the cause? Is it helping? Yeah, I wonder. That's touching on a whole other topic that I have to be careful about because YouTube's weird. We have this huge mental health crisis in the country, and yet we're not ever allowed to talk about it in a public forum because it's scary. And the main thing being that it's so prevalent that so many people are doing it in one way or another that they're just like, no, no, no. Let's not think about that. I think what I'm trying to do with the channel, at least a little bit, is do no. Why did you do that? My watch just tried to set a timer for 5 minutes. I don't know why. I like the idea of thinking for my channel. I feel like, at least with this rapport that we have, it's healthy and relevant. And I like to think we're giving ourselves a safe space to just get by all this. But I've certainly been, I swear, it's like, because I'm 45 and we're going into this 2026 and the things the way they are everywhere, not just in my country, everywhere, is so out of control, and everything feels uncertain. I want to at least have this little corner of the internet where it's not so bad, but we are here to use our brains a little bit, empathize with each other to some degree, help each other get through the rest of the week. Honestly, that's what helps here for me. Get me through another week, please. Oi! We'll start that again. That's wire is finicky. So if it's just the wrong way, it doesn't work. Can't have that. Santa won't show up. So what was I watching? It was something I was watching. YouTube has been sending me into an algorithm of thought, of discussion, of podcasts, thinking about what's happening in the broadest scale possible. Not even politically, but culturally, sociologically, psychologically, all those fun things that I have an interest in, at least, that I think whiskey can be shared and these things can be discussed. And I think that helps, like, not the drinking, but like the shared enjoyment helps bring us together when our opinions may disagree with each other. At least getting to that point. But there has been a drastic cultural change. And I think one of the things that's been taken away from us unintentionally is the loss of conversation. And the face-to-face conversations are important. And we've lost those a little bit. But we do have this. But we have to remember that this isn't the fix. This isn't the cure. This is something that helps. But it's not the solution. As social animals like we are, we have to remember that. And it's even harder for me as someone who doesn't like being around people. Remember that. I would prefer not to be around a crowd. If I were in a situation like I am right now, where I had 5 people listening to what I'm saying. Like, if there were 5 people here looking at me, listening to me talk, I would be uncomfortable. I'd handle it. No, but only because I've done stage performance before, and that's it. I can lean into that at least. But overall, finding a space and keeping our heads, and remember being open to thought, open to understanding, open to compromise, which is hard, for the record. I feel like what's happened well, simply put, we live in an age of technology that has never been experienced by mankind before, and we're not very good at dealing with it because it's happening very fast. very fast. So fast that we haven't been able to manage as a culture, as human beings, as a worldwide problem. We have gotten this new interconnected technology, but we're not very good at dealing with it. And there are those who have harnessed that technology and our inability to use it very well, and are making sure we're not thinking too much about anything. Which is hard for me to say here, of course, because you have brought your attention to me, and I appreciate it drastically. And I hope that by bringing your attention here, we can help in other regards. Having a shared space is important. And it's something we don't think about very much. Our thoughts, there we go, let's tie it back to the beginning of this, are all shared in a different way in this moment. And our attention is brief in the fact that we only have a certain amount of it. And we can only use it for so long overall. So it's good to bring your attention to a place that I feel like I just want to help and bring more attention to a better version of what is out there. Like sharing my whiskey experience with other people is good, and I hope they enjoy that. But there is something about sharing a whiskey with people in a group. I think Roy has done this brilliantly with some of the things he's done. Aquavitae's channel, where he gets everyone together and they have this wonderful experience together in person. It's wild. And I certainly can't do stuff like that, but I've been lucky that Irene's store is so close that I can go to those and get at least a little taste of it, even if I'm not always comfortable there. So in that regard, I can at least encourage people who are in the area or who end up visiting to go stop by her store. Make sure she's there. That's the hard part. She is a busy bee. Is not always on site. Five Fingers, I see you there. Hold on. That's for you. Enjoy. That was my little rant. I'm trying to remember what I was watching today. That's the problem. I'm like, but it was along those lines, like thinking about all those very broad topics. I've certainly been sucked into it. I think that's why I'm trying my best to be aware of it, is because my generation, our generations, whatever you want to call it, I don't know everyone's age range, but I think we're all along the same time frame-ish, where we are those who remember a time before computers and the internet. I remember going outside and not having cell phones, and like something that can never happen again. Unless there's like a horrible disaster and everything goes away. But for the most part, we are the few who have that sort of childhood, and it's gone forever. And we haven't quite figured out how to do that again in a positive way. We're interconnected in the best way we can be, which is globally, but we're also not as connected with those around us, which is why it's been important. This is why I have been lucky enough to find ways to exercise and find somebody to talk about my meals and nutrition, keeping that in line with my exercising, and having a good therapist. You lived when there wasn't even TV. Imagine that. I lived when there was black and white TV. That's the first television I remember was black and white. So I have that. I'm trying really hard to remember what it was, like what the television looked like, but it was small. I know that. So it wasn't a big TV. I'd have to ask mom and dad about that. They would know better. Yeah. Yeah, black and white TV. Yeah. That's my earliest thing. But even in that regard, a whole different style of entertainment and attention was created. And one of the things I have in my head, especially now, like I have stepped away from mainstream. So I don't have Netflix. I don't watch Paramount. I don't really look at Prime. Like all these streaming streaming services, there we go, that are available, that are there to keep your attention for as long as you allow it. I've stepped away from it, and it's surprising how that sort of attention consumption becomes part of the culture. Memes are an example of that. Ugh. Massive console TVs. Whoa. There we go. That's right. The moon landing. That was a big popular event, wasn't it? Long before my time. Remember, everyone, I was born in 1980. So that's where I started. I don't remember much about the 80s. A little bit. The hairstyles. Yeah, we have plenty to discuss in the future. And as I said, attention is like the one thing we have that we can share. And it's interesting how simple things, like when I talk about Lord of the Rings, the movie, or if I talk about Star Wars, or if I talk about Star Trek, what I'm tapping into is a shared experience to an extent. Because I remember watching Star Trek when I was growing up. I want to say billions of people have watched Star Trek. We all relate in that regard. We all have our favorite episodes. We have our quotes. Shared experience in all these different ways is wild. Gaming, shared experience. That's been what I've gotten into again lately. We haven't had cable in the last 13 years. We do have an Apple TV device. Ew, Apple. Even that, shared experience of Apple's bad, IBM is good, or Androids are good and Apple iPhones are better. It's like, ugh. We're feeding the machine, everyone. Make it stop. Anyway, this channel is going to be around for a while. We have plenty to discuss and think about. With that in mind, remember to support the channel and help me out. Keep my attention. Is become a channel member or become a patron on Patreon. There you go. You have these two options, and you get access to the weekly podcast and the audiobook club. I haven't updated the audiobook club yet because I've had to stop, but I will give you guys a heads up. I'll let you know when it's actually set to go live, but I've been listening to an audiobook that my father recorded. I'm doing the work to edit the chapters. So when that goes live on Audible, if you ever want to find Dad's Audible stuff and check in on that, Jim's in Recordings on Audible. There you go. I'll add that one since I am listening to it. But the most recent one I haven't put in yet, and I've had to put a pause on it because of work. 3 channels. One of them didn't even come in that good. Yep. Yeah. What a wild time we live in. No wonder we have intrusive thoughts all the time. Our attention is everywhere, and yet nowhere. I need to get away from my desk occasionally. That's my problem. I wake up, I come over here, and I sit here all day. I remember to make food occasionally. I have to have a smoothie before bed. That's what I need to do. I need to get as much protein as possible, and we are at about... We're over 100, I think. 40, 20, 20, it's 80. What do I have for lunch? 2 eggs and a bagel. So the eggs are probably about 15. It's so hard to get a huge amount of protein in your body every day. It's ridiculous. We're working on it, everyone. Once I have a set amount of food things I can eat every day without too much difficulty, that will be good. We're not there yet. Well, the little things my attention has to figure out is feeding myself the right amount of protein every day. Because I need so much. And what I really need to do is just find the things that are massive amounts of protein easily. And unfortunately, that's protein drinks, but you cannot drink a protein drink every day. I would not recommend that. Yeah, man. Breakfast for lunch. They're jumbo eggs, though. So I don't know how much protein is a jumbo egg, but I'm going to find out right now. Brownies are good protein, especially if you put protein powder in them. Or just sprinkle it on top. I can do that. There we go. I was right. Quinoa brownies? Ugh. Yeah, so 2 jumbo eggs have about 16 grams of protein. But I add a little cheese. Cheese has protein. Only a little bit. It's also fat, but mostly protein. Oh, I can't win. All right, so the rest of my evening's planned. Have one more piece of pizza. I don't know how much protein's in there. I should find that out too. Make a smoothie, play a few games, and then go to sleep. That sounds ideal. Maybe have a protein bar. I don't need to have a protein bar tonight. I already have more than enough protein in my system. I will be here on Sunday, everyone. And what I'll do, I don't know yet. I could make it a gaming stream just because I want to do more of that. Because I want to get through that game. The sticking point for my streams is that I like gaming. I like playing games and experiencing that with others. So you guys. But it's not exactly what people are interested in for this channel. But I still want to do it. I still want to get through them. That's the catch. I can only play them when I'm streaming, and I can't play them when I'm not streaming. I want to play them, and I want to get through them. Which means I have to stream them. That's the problem. So keep that in mind for Sunday. Again, I'm not sure what I'm doing, but it's leaning into that possibility. Just so I can get through that game a little faster. And we get to experience more games in the future. That's another bit of it. Buckwheat. Yeah, quinoa is an option. I've had quinoa and I tried to just eat it as is. That was a mistake. The most bland, flavorless stuff I've ever tasted in my life. But quinoa bowl, I've heard of those. Put stuff in them. We'll see. Well, I could say something like, if only Santa Claus got me brownies. That would be nice. I think I'd get a pass if that happened. We'll see. I don't make any Christmas presents or wishes or anything like that. 9 o'clock, everyone. Thank you for being here. Again, I'll see you on Sunday. As always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. I will see you out there. Special thanks to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.